chose the hard difficulty. Nice! Challenge like that builds character. Also riddles that character with bullets before blowing it up and feeding the pieces to a Raptidon.
cranked it. Or something. They want more to it than just a lunatic shot at them. And here was Cash Patel being asked about this, and all I could say is MAGA was not happy with it.
The FBI has now said, as it relates to Thomas Crooks, who was the attempted assassin in Butler, Pennsylvania, that he worked alone. So there's been so much that has surrounded this, so many questions, people saying, well, we don't know that we feel we have the full story. You guys at the FBI are saying, this is the full story, he worked alone. Can you give us insight into what led you into that determination?
We took a similar approach with this investigation as the one we just talked about. We said, look, the public has questions. Let's go look at everything again, just in case. And so we've been presenting in the administration with our findings over the course of the last few months, maybe 6-8 months now. And the president has been pretty satisfied with our findings because this is what we did. We got into every single device that was seized that we found. We had every contact, with every social media post that we had. And we did a full-blown investigation into, are you, Thomas Crooks, in touch with anyone overseas?
What do you want now?
Speaking of James. So, here's the deal. I'm gonna play more of this clip for you, is what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna play it for you, and you're gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna have a good time. It's a very horrific event that happened, and it's fascinating that MAGA, even when it's their people in power, can't let go of their theories. It's them Patel has a reason to cover up that Biden directed the killing of Trump. You think, no, he would expose that in an instant if it were true. It's not.
But I know you can't talk about it.
It's right, but just click it. Cash Patel, the FBI director.
We are anonymous. We are the ones who stand in the way when corruption spread. Do not stay silent when power turns predatory. Do not engage. Do not listen. And tonight, anonymous sources from the multiple agencies look inside conversations with Donald Trump. Speaking away, feel the truth now across Washington. Trump is panicking hard, panicking with the stories of the rest have reached the level of control cannot deportation of press and across Trump's own social media platform. Some of his followers by comments. This makes me sick. What the hell is this? Please stop this madness. Another shame the White House post. How embarrassing. It's himself more than anyone else. That's a Russia Republican said a very nice people. Validates what Meanwhile, Trump's mental state is deteriorating so visibly that major news outlets are now covering it. MSNBC and Deadline compiled clips showing Trump bragging non-stop about passing cognitive tests designed to detect those who ceremonies. Everyone is under the way when corruption spreads. Do not stay silent when power turns predatory. Do not forgive. Do not forget. And tonight, anonymous. The more his own actions expose him. What you are about to hear is the story his regime has tried to bury under propaganda. And when the facts are loud enough for the world to hear. It all started when California Governor Gavin Newsom mocked Trump in a way that cut straight through his armor. Trump and his regime posted an AI torture video they proudly labeled cuffing season. They showed migrants being abused by border agents as if human suffering was content for their cult. That one grotesque post alone should have sparked outrage, but this regime has normalized cruelty so long that some barely blink.
So Newsom responded the only way you respond to tyrants who glorify violence. He posted his own cuffing season video identifying the real criminals, the real felons, the real war criminals. Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth. Newsom hit them where it hurts, in public mocking them relentlessly. And the reason this mockery hit so hard is because, according to anonymous internal sources, Trump is terrified of accountability, terrified of prosecution, terrified of handcuffs, terrified that the image Newsom posted is not satire, but prophecy. And while Trump spirals online, the official White House accounts under his regime behave like a teenage troll farm. One post after another reveals not governance, not leadership, but instability. Yesterday alone, they posted another cuffing season video showing Border Patrol and ICE agents torturing migrants, followed by a bizarre, photoshopped image calling Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries a Christmas elf. Then Trump posted on Instagram calling himself the most influential man in Europe.
Gaza's population is on the brink of famine.
Even though, as Reuters and The Guardian have reported repeatedly, European intelligence agencies view Trump as a destabilizing force aligned with Vladimir Putin's interests. That is not influence. That is infiltration. The White House then posted an image labeled illegally the Deportation Express. And across Trump's own social media platform, even some of his followers finally snapped. Comments poured in. This makes me sick. What the hell are we doing? Please stop this madness. Another shameful White House post. How embarrassing. People are waking up, even from inside the MAGA cult. And anonymous insiders confirm Trump sees those comments. He reads them. He rages. He throws things. He screams at staff for allowing criticism to remain visible. This is a man obsessed with control who now feels control slipping through his fingers. But while the public clowns Trump for his memes, and chaos darker things are happening behind the scenes, a court filing revealed that the Trump regime issued a 6-page list of banned words for the federal Head Start program. Head Start exists to give poor children a chance at early education and nutrition, but the Trump regime banned the words disability, race, women, trauma, Gulf of Mexico discrimination, diverse backgrounds, fostering inclusivity, bias biologically, banned words for children, for teachers, for federal documents. That is authoritarianism hiding in plain sight. This is what regimes do when they fear truth, when they fear empathy, when they fear science, when they fear accountability. And still Trump descends further into his grift spiral. His social media account posted a sales pitch for the Trump Gold Card, claiming it is a path to citizenship. For $1 million, you too can unlock life in America. For corporations, only $5 million. This is not immigration reform. This is corruption with a price tag. This is a pay-to-play citizenship scam designed to funnel oligarch money into Trump's pockets. And back in February, Trump openly said Russian oligarchs would absolutely be eligible.
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. It's possible.
Reuters, AP, and BBC all documented his remarks, validating what national security officials have warned for years. Trump sees America not as a country, but as inventory. Everything for sale, even citizenship, even democracy. Meanwhile, Trump's mental state is deteriorating so visibly that major news outlets are now covering it. MSNBC and Deadline compiled clips showing Trump bragging nonstop about passing cognitive tests designed to detect early dementia.
The next day they'll say, he's crazy. The next day they'll say, oh, he's incompetent. The next day they'll say, this is one of the dumbest human beings ever. And that wasn't working, but I didn't like that one as much. I mean, that was bad. So I asked Dr. Ronnie, I love Dr. Ronnie, but I said, what do you think about a cognitive test, Ronnie? And he said, sir, there is a test. It's called an X test. Oh, yeah, good test, I guess. The cognitive test. The first couple of questions are easy. A tiger, an elephant, and you're...
He repeats stories incorrectly. He forgets how many times he took the tests. He proudly lists words like person, woman, man, camera, TV, as if solving a national crisis.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They say, that's amazing. How did you do that?
In some clips he repeats, I aced it, I aced it, I aced it, like a man trying to convince himself more than anyone else. Analysts from multiple networks have noted that Trump's fixation on these basic tests signals fear. Fear of decline, fear of exposure, fear that people see through his public bravado. And according to anonymous insiders, Trump has privately snapped at aides, demanding new tests because he thinks people are calling him incompetent. He is unraveling in real time. And the economy Trump keeps lying about is collapsing under his own policies. He claims affordability is a hoax, but America is in a golden age, that things have never been better. But Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, a Republican and Trump appointee, told the truth. The economy lost an average of 20,000 jobs per month from April to September. Unemployment has risen. Inflation is being pushed upward by Trump's own tariffs.
Why did we move today? I would say point to a couple things. First of all, gradual cooling in the labor market has continued.
The body scanner reveals the brutal truth about your body that your regular scale will never tell you. For weeks, my scale...
The Jeffrey Epstein files have become a defining issue for Trump in his first year back then. Stoking out the prison history covering up for the most notorious sexual predator in recent history and as a popular. But something that's flown under the radar is the story of how this man and his brother, both facing charges of rape and human trafficking in Romania, were suddenly allowed to return to the United States, and how the Trump administration might have been involved. One of those men, Andrew Tate, is one of the most proudly violently misogynistic influencers in the world, with an enormous following online, particularly among young men and boys. And in his online content, he and his brother have bragged about their recruitment and exploitation of women to make pornography. Both brothers have repeatedly denied criminal matters. And now the New York Times, a remarkable investigative report, finds that they were released from Romanian custody only after Trump administration officials intervened. The White House told the Times it was not involved in legal matters. Time reports that 6 days before Trump's inauguration, Andrew Tate wrote in a text, quote, "I had word from the Trump administration that they're on top of this. I've been told I'll be free soon." And here is how the Tate brothers reacted when, in fact, they were free, and they boarded their flight back to the States the very next day. Here you are. You don't know who you are. We are so back. No one has ever been more back than we just got. And we never really left. And now we're back. Never left, but we're massively back. Megan, too, is a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter from the Times, one of the reporters who wrote that story. It's phenomenal work. I say that to you a lot because it's always true. So, first, just for folks that don't know who Andrew Tate and Brooke Person are, just give us a sense of who they are, what kind of content they made, and what their message is.
Sure. So they are huge stars in the so-called manosphere. Andrew Tate in particular has built a massive audience of mostly young men by preaching brazen masculinity and chauvinism. And they have also taught courses on how to date women and exploit women and make money, and have also, very notably, run a porn business for about a decade, in which they have bragged about basically dating women and then steering those girlfriends into making content, online sexual content, in which they take most of the profits.
If I'm not mistaken, I think one of the courses they offered was something regulatory academic.
Yeah, it was a PhD. For printing poetry.
Yes, and the whole idea was, and again, what's in this is, we will teach you how to find women, create some sort of what appears to be romantic connection with them, and then use that to manipulate them into them making sexual content that you profit. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they were born in the United States, but grew up, spent much of their life growing up in Britain. And so they launched this porn business, if you will, around the mid-2010s when they were based in Britain. And in 2015, they moved to Romania. We found out Andrew was actually under a criminal investigation then for alleged assault with multiple women. And as he tells it, thought that Romania, was a place where you could get away with a lot of stuff that you could get away with in the West.
I think he said that.
He even said that, yes.
Get away with.
Yeah, exactly. And so they moved. They basically relocate to Romania,
And so they're wanting this business out of both like Britain and Romania. They're growing it into a variety of platforms with a variety of women. And so they're doing all these things simultaneously. They're doing the porn business, then they're teaching the online courses in which they're basically saying, we'll teach you the lessons we've learned from this.
And there's some of the like the MMA stuff, fighting and working out, and they're like super ripped and all that, like all of that stuff adjacent to
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Like super fitness.
Yeah.
And Andrew got his start as a professional kickboxer.
Right.
So it's really maximize that.
So they have this huge phone. Now, so that's sort of uncontested, right? That part of it. Like, that this is what they're about. And they've said it, they've talked about it. People like slaves.
Yeah.
It's a different process.
It's a different process. So they have been, since late 2022, they have been under criminal investigation in Romania. And the allegations are there that they have coerced dozens of women into their porn business, into what amounts to trafficking. And that Andrew has raped one of those women, and they also, there's accusations that he, had sex with him. And so those...
Why don't you say that again? There's an accusation that he had sex with and he did.
Correct. And so this case, as the prosecutors have been building this case, they have repeatedly sought to keep these guys confined. And so they had been prohibited from leaving the country as the prosecutors are building this case, with the prosecutors saying that they posed a public danger and a flight risk.
I want to read some of these texts that you have gotten in the article. This is a woman who said, do you want me to be your slave or your wife? There's a woman who, again, is sort of, it seems to be recruiting kind of quasi-romantically and then maybe trying to do something else. You'll do whatever I tell you. It's the same thing. I'll choose a woman to be my wife. She'll love me enough to let me tell her what I feel like. I will decide if she's a slave. And then this is a text exchange in a text chat titled Pimps. This is two associates, along with Tristan, the brother, discussed how to punish a woman who said she would no longer work. Kristen Tate, the mood now is as follows. Okay. Both of you go, get her out of the house. Okay. Hit her if you have to. I don't care. Don't let her take her thing. Thanks.
Right. Those are among the text messages that the prosecutors have gathered. And he's been pouring through hundreds of pages of court records from Romania, in which they've gathered together and spelled out what they say is a long pattern of this behavior with a variety of women.
There are other criminal charges in England, am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Britain, prosecutors have authorized charges. They're not just under investigation. They've authorized charges of trafficking and rape against both brothers there. And those are charges that they'll have to face in the Romania cases. They'll have to go to Britain and face those there. And we also realized, one of the things we discovered in the course of our reporting, I worked on this with my colleague, Isabella Ply, and what we found was that here in the United States since 2022, anti-trafficking agents at the Department of Homeland Security, as well as federal prosecutors here in New York, the ones who eventually won a conviction of Sean Combs, had been investigating the Tate brothers.
We should also note that almost immediately upon turn, a girl from Andrew Tate's stage. That beyond what we've seen today, Jeffrey Epstein was a sick man. Ghislaine Maxwell was a monster, and the harm and abuse they have caused women and children needs to be exposed, and the powerful men that did that harm need to be exposed, and there has to be justice. I want to be clear that from my perspective.
In a bombshell new update from the House Oversight Committee, a new tranche of photos has been released courtesy of the Epstein estate, many of which include Donald Trump himself. Here, for example, is Trump with 6 young women, another shows Trump-branded condoms, another...
Donald Trump did something this week that is making the Russians very, very happy. Now, I realize that may not narrow it down very much, but I'm talking about their national security strategy just released. Take a listen.
Tonight, Russia is welcoming President Trump's new U.S. national security strategy, calling it largely consistent with Moscow's, quote, vision.
So why are the Russians thrilled with this? Because this document, which sets out our national security strategy, closely aligns with Moscow. This is what Moscow says. It closely aligns with their vision. Imagine that, America's national security strategy in close alignment with the Kremlin dictator. In fact, if the national security document had a theme song or credits, it would probably look a lot like this.
That have been aggregated from different media reports, some of which are able to be validated with names and actual reports.
But yeah, Trump's extremely worried about this. And what he does is mask his worry, his concern by being a bully. That's how Trump operates. And you always get to the point, which is when you basically pop the balloon of the bully into these legs. And that's what I'm waiting to see if that happens to me.
Professor Scott Lucas from the Clinton Institute at the University College Dublin, thank you so much for joining the Trump Report on a Saturday.
A very fine morning to you, Maddie. How dedicated are we?
I know, and we did have a trove of people commenting in on our last Saturday appearance.
non-stop about passing cognitive tests designed to detect or intervene. We are anonymous. We are the ones who do not look away when corruption spreads. We do not stay silent when power turns predatory. We do not forgive. We do not forget. And tonight, anonymous sources from within multiple agencies from inside conversation that Donald Trump believed were sealed away. Bragging non-stop about passing cognitive.
Getting ready to play this game here. Sorry, I was caught up in the news, man. It's good to watch the news. You could watch the news on Sunny Hippie's account. We got news, games, and all kinds of stuff here on Sunny Hippies. So we appreciate you tuning in and watching. And, yeah, we're going to get playing here.
Apologies. Emergency protocols unready.
Sorry, ain't ready yet. Ready to waste them on your command. Ain't nothing there. I'm the one you need to worry about. Ain't recharged.
Confronting threat.
Things take time, Commander.
Would be of interest to Minister Milvers.
I like how you level up with experience points, but also they give you experience points if you accomplish certain tasks, like in Skyrim.
Seeing Zeb again went different than I expected. Not that I had high hopes for tears and confetti, but damn. That's appreciated, Commander. Maybe I ought to apologize straight away. But I'm not convinced I did the wrong thing, leaving. Had I stayed, who knows? Likely I'd have gotten us both killed. Let's just say my ambitions were bigger than my talents after I recovered from Horizon Point. Still believed I could change the world back then. Anyway, I appreciate the check-in, Commander. Was there anything else you needed? Sure. Always happy to tool around for a bit. What did you have in mind?
Please try again later.
Ready to take the heat off you, Commander. Just say when.
Emergency protocol syringes primed.
We're closed. Did you not hear me? This place is closed. No learning today about how everything happens according to the obscure calculus of an indecipherable plan. Why are you asking? Who are you?
The people she tried to kill.
By the architect. I had no idea. I wish I could say it was unbelievable. I was afraid she was becoming a danger to herself and to others. But this is horrifying.
Yeah, imagine how we feel. Why don't you tell us where she is so we can make sure she ain't being a danger to herself or others?
And how are you going to do that?
That ain't something you ought to be concerning yourself about.
If you think I'm going to help you do what I think you're talking about, you are deluded.
I may be deluded, but you're lucky you ain't dead. Seeing how she seems partial to using her friends as victims.
Does she? It occurs to me that you have provided no proof of what you're accusing her of.
Why don't you take a long look at me? This is all because she betrayed us. Her team, her friends, even the one whose life she saved in Triangulum.
By the architect. You're Niles, aren't you? She mentioned you a few times, but refused to elaborate. All I knew was that she was fond of you, and that you were dead.
She was fond of me? Then why? Why would she try to kill me?
I can't say, but it may be one of the things she anguished over. An anguish I fear finally overwhelmed her, and could likely be what's driven her to her present course of action. I wish I knew. It's nothing good, I can tell you that. I haven't seen her since before the corporatists invaded the island. I'm afraid she's going to do something terrible, but I just don't know what. Maybe none of this would have happened had I not introduced her to Victor. How did... You saw her terminal, didn't you? Victor's an Order archivist. We were all friends for a time. But then, shortly before the schism, they started talking to some others inside the Order. That's when things became tense. I started to become uneasy, scared, really. She kept getting angrier with the Order the more she worked with Victor and her other contacts. On top of everything else, it became just too much for me. among other things. For some reason, she was obsessed with the cliffhanger ending of Chapter 6. It was the one where capitalist fanatics brought complete destruction upon Arcadia. But you know how it works. It was somehow miraculously saved at the beginning of the next chapter. Didn't matter to DeVries, though. She just kept going over it and over it. Would have talked to a Crabble about it if there was no one else to listen. That, and the invasion itself, set her mind to dark things. I begged her not to go down that road again. She was so agitated when I first met her. Must have been 7, going on 8 years ago now. She never slept, didn't talk to anyone if she could avoid it. After we became friends, she began to change. Still bothered her from time to time, but I thought it mostly behind her. I couldn't watch her go back to how she'd been. Or worse. Just a religion driven by algorithms, maths, predictions of the future. They believe they will eventually solve the universal equation and know everything, rid humanity of uncertainty. The Order used to be part of the Protectorate. They said that we were told to believe in the paradigm. We are trained from birth to believe anything they tell us. For some reason, she interceded on my behalf. We all were, which she even continued to sign her messages, "See you in the..." What do you mean? It was where she worked, one of the Protectorate's communications hubs.
She ain't the only one.
It's difficult to explain. She said learn some...
Know a little something about that, too.
I did try to, after the corporatists invaded Paradise Island and took over Fairfield. No.
That is Agent DeVries' identification code, Commander.
She said it had some meaning from her previous life. I'd hoped she'd left something for me. But the safe was... No. But it had to be someone's fault, right? The Protectorate couldn't possibly have failed to safeguard... I know I've no right to ask this of you, but... when you find her, please remind her of who she used to be. She's unwell. That's all I can ask.
Just got a chill like someone paying my grave fee. That's DeVries' identification code.
Over here! Free hole in the head!
Standing by with life support. As indicated.
Just got a chill like someone paying my grave fee. That's DeVries' identification code.
Spell heinous ascetic without Auntie's choice. Joyce knows that a better you is just 3 pills and an ointment away.
I've been bartering with defectors. Traded one force rocket for a whole tin of prestige force slugs. Straight up.
A lot of fresh blood in the talent pool around here with these protectorate defectors. Not sure how I feel about that, except that I hate it.
I don't much appreciate you undermining my work, Minister. When have I ever not made a go of a job for you, huh? Is it so damn hard to extend a mind of trust?
Calm down. You know well. Well, would not have been necessary had you completed your task in a timely manner.
I'll calm down when you stop bringing your little excuses. How about that?
My, such aggression.
Scarcely need add hostility to your list of inadequacies.
Ain't so sure you want to work for this imbecile, friend. There's more menial jobs where that came from.
Bad Trooper Sealong, no mind. The individuality encouraged by Auntie's choice sometimes inspires employees to speak out of turn. How has your progress been? Have you acquired what we discussed? Excellent! Pleased that someone in my employ can be relied upon. Here, have one of my finest suits as a token of thanks. May it aid in your capture of hearts and minds.
Again, you gave away my job and told my replacement to send me home. That don't make me wayward, and it sure as shit don't make me unreliable. If this contract weren't staying my hand, I reckon you'd be answering to it right about now.
You mean grant preferential treatment to a subpar contractor? And I suppose the bits for such a procedure shall simply manifest from the ether?
And if I die or leave, how do you reckon failure to retain an enhanced soldier would look to upper management, huh?
Please pay this disgruntled employee no mind. What would she do without Auntie's hand to guide her if she were unemployed? I should think death a preferable alternative.
That's it. I'd rather be a down-and-outer for the rest of my life than crushed under your counterfeit leather boa boot a second longer. I quit!
What? I have done nothing to deserve such barbaric treatment. This is unheard of, and I might add, you'll not be welcome with an Auntie's choice once more. We'll not take a contract shirker back into our fold.
So you say, but Auntie's choice ain't seen a trooper like me before. You'll regret counting me out. Till then, I hope you choke on your mock apple martinis. And you, I got a proposition for you. Come find me when you're done with this clown.
She will most assuredly regret her decision, most assuredly. Now, if you're quite finished urging others to assault my headwear, let's move on. The acquisition of this information is but the first part of my plan to bring our foes into the fold and to ensure my future. The second is my operation in Westport. Worry not. The culmination of my plan will bring me the tools to aid you in your endeavor to enter the Vox station. Westport is a shell of the bustling town it was prior to the invasion, though a handful of Protectorate Yesayers still cling to it. My plan requires their conversion. Verily. On to business. I've a kit of supplies to aid you, items to cajole or to dissuade. Sabotage the town or sway the citizenry. The choice is yours. Should pose no trouble for a go-getter like you. Excellent. Here's the kit. Advertisement tapes, ambidextrine, assorted stimulants, free samples of Purple Berry Crunch, everything you need to wage war on the undecided mind. That I shall mark the locale. Begin with the vigilant Hogarth. Motivate him to depart, and his subjects will trot in file behind him woolly cow-like. Now, I'm sure you've asked yourself, for a task so involved, shall the reward be worthwhile? Well, wonder no longer. For the completion of this deed, I'm prepared to offer you an exact replica of my one-of-a-kind, limited production, gentle person's Oxonian. Then consider yourself officially deputized in the war to further innovation and the free market. Be forewarned. I can only guess at the needs of the denizens of Westport. You must engage with them, gauge their situation. Only then can you motivate them adequately.
What is it? Make it quick, yeah?
All done in there? Was hoping we could chat. Hope that little dust up back there didn't put you off. My contract had me caged, and I was glad to get a few licks in during the jailbreak. Got a proposition. Since I'm newly free-ranged, and you're free-ranged yourself, thinking we ought to team up. You're going places. I want to go too. If you help me fix my graft, you'll retain the services of a fully functioning enhanced soldier. Me. Don't matter what you set your mind to, together we'll be unstoppable. And in time, maybe I'll have earned myself the clout to be welcomed back into Auntie's Choice. Had a feeling you knew a good offer when you seen it. Once I'm in top form, you'll be pleasantly surprised to see what I'm capable of. Just gotta find out how to get there first. Doc Tinsley worked with Grafts for some time before she came to Fairfield. Damn fine scientist. Reckon we should visit her lab at the edge of town to see if she's got ideas for us.
This much of a crowd's not likely to keep a low profile. Someone ought to head back to mine the ship. I didn't mean me, but all right. I see where your head's at. Keep safe out there.
After you.
suppose it was only a matter of time until we were discovered. Though what an odd thing to die for. Apples. Is that not why you've come? Because you discovered our recent larceny at the greenhouse? The greenhouse's stolen bounty offered a healthy alternative to gorging ourselves on that vending machine poison. Alas, I was spotted on 1 or 2 forays.
You might have told me you were certified in door-to-door sales, Commander. I could have brought some free samples to boost our numbers.
You must have a weak mind to have fallen prey to such dubious marketing. I bet you don't even know half of what's in what you consume. The horror of it. Starving? Hardly. We have greater stores of strength than you suppose. This hunger is a momentary distraction, nothing more. If you are conniving for some concession of weakness...
Thought I saw you disappear in here. Oh. Seems I've stumbled into quite the shindig. You lot been hiding out in here all this time? Touch cramped, ain't it? You've got me there. Nothing enigmatical about a trio of Protectorate stowaways.
The more I listen to invaders blathering, the more convinced I become of the need to rid our fair island of your wretched stupidity by any means necessary.
Not very copacetic, are you folks?
If this exchange is not to your liking, I can accommodate you with a bullet instead. Spare me your insults. They mean less than nothing coming from the mouth of a corporate pet. I would sever my own hands at the wrist rather than sign a corporate contract. A generous offer. But we prefer to die in the service of the Sovereign. You must think highly of your skills to believe you would come out on top during an engagement.
That was some slick talk. Guess I had this mystery all wrong. A small part of me was hoping... Nah, never mind. It's downright foolish. I lost a friend in the invasion. She romantic, but I digress. Thanks for your...
Why do you linger? Do you enjoy watching us so abased?
I'm practically a detective now. Wonder what other mysteries around here need solved.
No need for that.
Emmeline will be pleased not to have to worry about her fruits and such going missing anymore.
pulverizing them suffice? No, I could liquefy them, apply heat and congeal them into kibble no beast could resist. Oh, Ethel, darling, you're a genius. Approach with less haste next time, won't you? Copernicus may be tame, but he still doesn't take kindly to being startled. Oh, Inez, you look, well, like you could use an ice bath and a cup of newly formulated trip teas. Has something happened?
Something has, all right. I ended my contract effective immediately. Now I'm free to prove myself to everyone in Auntie's Choice. My way.
Well, that's wonderful news. Or is it? I admit I'm still trying to work through what contracts mean hereabouts. But you do appear to be pleased, so I shall be pleased for you. That is not common knowledge in this town. But since Inez appears to trust you, I suppose I can do the same. Before I began my new illustrious career working with our tame, scarily friends here, I was a researcher in the Enhanced Soldier Division. Oh, I was on the verge of breakthrough when they shut us down. Oh, when I think of the lives I could have reached. But in my current role, I do try to help where I can.
Where my own first aid training can't reach, Doc's got me covered. The graft knocked me on my ass for weeks when I first got it. But she nursed me back to health.
Would if I could have done more.
Despite your insinuation, there are plenty of good folk.
I understand you're right. I have a lead, Inez. The first candidate I
heard rumors of the creature myself. Our skeletons. It is the deep in protectorate territory.
When that excellent. It'll be a rather. Now, when you acquire one or both of these parts. Back again? I hope the hunting has gone well.
What do you mean you're leaving? Ship's over. I have a life outside this place, you know. A life? Outside our lab? No. Audacious advances requires commitment. Agent vitals have fallen. What do you mean you're leaving? Ship's over. I have a life outside this place, you know. Commencing termination.
Entering occupational.
I see you chose the hard difficulty. Nice. Challenge like that builds character. Also riddles that character with
Whether it's an orifice or a face, Auntie's choice makes a cream for it. You want freedom of choice. You want Auntie's choice.
What do you mean you're leaving? Ship's over. I have a life outside this place, you know. A life? Outside our lab? No.
Throughout history, human societies were constantly out of balance. Individualism ran rampant. Depletion of resources and lack of community led to terrible suffering.
Huh. Well, at least it's not shooting the water anymore.
Here on Eden, we all enjoy the full luxury the paradigm affords us. A perfect life of contentment and plenty. We have community, purpose,
Everything? Literally everything I own is underwater. What do you mean?
Have time for a chat, Commander? This is a delicate situation. You reckon we help folk here get back on their feet? Or do what the Minister asked? Well, if we help Westport, the Vigilant has promised to get us into the box. Folk here could rebuild their community. Maybe. But it's only delaying the inevitable, if you ask me. If we convince these folk to join up with Auntie's choice, they can start new lives away from the Protectorate guillotine. They'd be grateful once they see what we got on offer. Plus, the Minister's deal was clear. Do this, and he'll tell you how to gain entrance to the box. So you'd still get what you're after. The whereabouts of DeVries, right? Come on, Commander. Westport's damn near underwater, and the Protectorate are claiming everyone they're in to be traitors. Barring some mass change of heart, it's a matter of time before these folk get struck down by their own. The Vigilant seems a decent enough sort, but he's just one man. You want to give these folk a real shot at living? Send them to Fairfield. You got it. Let's start conversating. The sooner we know how folk really feel about living here, the sooner we'll know who to butter up.
Greetings. It is my esteemed pleasure to welcome you to Westport, once a shining testament to Protectorate excellence, now a picturesque example of the evils of corporatism. But where are my manners? We do not have much, but please, let me offer you some victuals. Tut, tut. I insist. Serving Unit 1, Something for the visitor at once?
Confirmative.
Perhaps you're wondering why I'd open my arms thusly for a stranger. Simple. As the guiding light for humankind, we always put our best foot forward, regardless of circumstance.
Sabotage and/or manipulative indoctrinatory falsity.
I beg to differ. Those walls have stood for over a century and would easily have stood for another, were it not for Auntie's greed and envy and explosives.
Everyone knows the paradigm epitomizes the pinnacle.
Our society was built from the bedrock up through the vision of our matriarch. Due to her genius, the structure of our society is perfect, planned down to the last subject. We all work as a unified whole for the betterment of all. Unlike those corporate colonies, where it's every person for themselves.
The community led to terrible suffering. Poor dears didn't have the firm, benevolent hand of the sovereign to guide them. Here on Eden, we all enjoy the full luxury the paradigm affords us. A perfect life of contentment and plenty.
How dare you? The lower classes, as you call them, are the very heart of our society. There's naught to complain of. Why, we've even eradicated the drudgery of manual labor through our perfection of auto-mechanical technology. That brings me to a matter I'd like to discuss with you, actually. I believe something still can be done. This town can be saved, its people given a reprieve. Were we to acquire the one thing vital to our existence, auto-mech parts. What?
Comestibles served.
We of the Protectorate pride ourselves on our mech programming. Among the vigilant, it is even considered something of a sport. We are not miracle workers, however. Without parts to work with, we've no hope of remaking our mechs to do tasks beyond their initial functions. We need repair mechs, domestic mechs, not combat ones. Serving Unit 1 here is about as much as can be accomplished without replacement parts.
Ecological network. To govern it, the matriarch, working with and through the sovereign, devised the paradigm, a meticulously designed marvel where, if each of us does our part, produces glorious...
Oh, you failed to hear the loudspeakers on the way in? The announcement we're obliged to repeat incessantly. Well, allow me to paraphrase. Protectorate law finds us guilty of treason on account of letting Westport fall prey to Auntie's choice saboteurs.
Or the base individualists within Auntie's choice. So don't fret. The system...
Well, obviously, we've forsaken our duties as members of the Protectorate. It is incumbent upon us to fight to the death, yet we still live, as does our enemy. Now, either the Arbiters arrive to execute us, or this place falls under the vapid boot heel of Auntie's choice. No matter who wins, we cannot sustain ourselves here for long.
To offset any minor disruption.
Is a fellow subject lacking the appropriate seal for their...
These fine and decent folk don't deserve having their lives thrown away on account of my failures. If I can return the settlement to a reasonable facsimile of its previous glory, sufficiently functioning by employing mechs reprogrammed to repair and rebuild, the Arbiters might see fit to penalize only me, commute the others' sentences, allow them to maintain things around here in the spirit of continuity and such.
Look around. If the Protectorate wanted to do right by you, you wouldn't be starving and wallowing in this metal quagmire. You want to help your people? Go to Fairfield.
Fairfield? Why, they're the reason we're in this mess. You'll forgive me for questioning such timely offers of generosity and kindness. No thank you, not interested. I owe it to every single person here to try.
Epitomizes the pinnacle of social order. Why? Because the matriarch herself designed it, and the sovereign embodies and executes on it. Throughout history, human societies were constantly out of balance. Individualism ran rampant. Depletion of resources and lack of community led to terrible suffering. Poor dears didn't working with and through the Sovereign, devised the paradigm, a meticulously designed marvel where, if each of us does our part, produces glorious bounty for all. Naturally, sometimes challenges do arise. We all know how invasive species can unbalance even the most robust ecosystem, like those nettlesome raptidons, or the base individualists within Auntie's choice. Though don't fret, the system is resilient. The system abides. But now, more than ever, we must all do our part to maintain it. Keep doing your job with pride. Keep informing on your neighbors. Same as ever. But prudence dictates we give it a little extra added zeal for now, just to offset any minor disruption.
Feeling distracted? Daydreaming on the job? Mental refreshment centers are there to help you. Don't risk falling prey to imperfect thoughts. Go now.
Nobody needs go anywhere. Not when we can still save Westport. We of the Protectorate endure as one, regardless of any hardships we must face. It'd have to be catastrophically obvious this place was doomed, and incontrovertibly, well, that's what's commonly. I have the A. Our automechs are still running, mostly. We have a generator to power them, fresh water, the reassuring voice of everyone's neighbor Prudence wafts from our loudspeaker. I don't know. I have a brighter future in mind for Westport, one you can help with, in fact, rather than dwelling on dark maybes and scenarios of worst imagining. Understand your reticence. It's a gamble, no arguing that. But anything else is simply giving. What sort of payment do you seek? Don't imagine we have much you need. Difficult place to sort. In exchange, never dream of such a proposal in days of reason and quietude.
So much for their paradigm keeping mouths fed and roofs overhead. The minister was right to send it.
Led to terrible suffering. Poor tears didn't have the firm but... hand of the Sovereign to guide them.